Hey, fellow truth seekers, I'm Justin.
And I'm Brandy, and together we'll be your guides on this spine-tingling journey through the unknown.
We dive headfirst into the eerie realms of cryptids, from Bigfoot to Loch Ness Monster.
And hold on tight, because we'll explore spine-chilling encounters with extraterrestrial beings and UFO sightings that will leave you questioning what's really out there.
Beyond the Shadows is not your average paranormal podcast. Our goal is simple: to shed light on the shadows that haunt our world and confront the unexplained with an open mind.
And for the skeptics, don't worry, we have something for you too. Our conspiracy theories will challenge your beliefs and make you question everything. So, if you're fascinated by the paranormal, yearn for chilling true crime stories, or crave the adrenaline rush of uncovering conspiracies,
join us on this hair-raising adventure as we journey beyond the shadows.
Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
The following podcast discusses adult situations and gets very sweary. Sensitive ears beware. You're listening to the Fuck My Work Life podcast, where the work stories are real, the laughs are contagious, and all of us can agree that work sucks.
Welcome back, fuckers, to the Fuck My Work Life podcast.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Jay.
And this is a podcast. What's with the NPR voice?
Huh?
All right.
Oh.
And that special voice is our friend Leo Allen, formerly of the Voluntary Input podcast.
Yeah, I like the squeak. You know, you never know.
You never know.
You never know what the future holds. That's why I keep telling people. Who knows?
Okay, good. Then Leo Allen of the Voluntary Input podcast, currently on hiatus, but you're making your rounds as guests on pods, which is good. It's nice to hear your voice every once in a while on some podcasts, and
thank you.
We're happy to have you here with us tonight.
And how are two of my favorite people?
Hot.
Yeah, good.
But otherwise good. How's everything in your world?
Good. It's also hot here too. Although we've had a bit of a reprieve, which is kind of odd for Ohio in August, but it's about to ramp back up again, they say. And then they keep saying it's going to rain. They say it's going to rain every day. It's supposed to rain today, and it's sunny, clear, whatever. I should have been a weatherman, because you could just say it's going to rain today, and if it doesn't, you can go, oh well, the models were off.
Right. Yeah. It's like the end of the world predictors.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still here? Oh, no. We redid the math. We were off
2012.
By a year.
Yeah.
We forgot to carry the one.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a weatherman, I would just be like, hey guys, it's either going to rain today or it won't. Now back to you.
Yeah. There's a 50% chance of rain today.
Yeah.
You say that every day. Well, there is.
Well, I mean,
there's a 30% chance it's already raining. Are you drinking anything today?
I have something that I picked up just for the heck of it. It's in my cup. It's called Zapsplat Hard Lemonade. I just wanted to try something different. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's from Aldi. They have their own stuff. And you know how that is. It's like, well, it's cheaper than the regular stuff. It might not be. But I was like, what the heck? Why not? And it's not bad. Not bad at all. If you like hard lemonades and seltzers.
Is it like a Mike's, I guess? I haven't had a Mike's in forever.
Yeah.
Now, does Aldi do the thing that Costco does, do you know, where they basically just rebrand other stuff and name it Aldi, or do they actually make their...
I think they actually make their stuff. And they were on a big thing where a lot of their stuff is organic. Almost, I think all of it is organic, but they don't charge those crazy organic prices like a lot of places do. Because I hate that. They always say, oh, you need to eat better. Stop eating all the preservatives and blah, 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 blah. But then everything's $1 million. I'm like, oh, I can't eat better because you charge too much.
Yeah. It's not affordable to eat better. Yay, America.
Exactly. America.
So we have you on with us today just to kind of share some work stories, shoot the shit, that kind of fun stuff. So what is it that you do for a career?
So I recently switched agencies, I accepted a IT director position, and I still can't talk. Position for, and I like to tell people I actually work for the Pope now, but I'm not Catholic, so we'll get that out of the way. But it's not.
disclaimer.
That's not, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just that's not the.
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay. And we just
and
lost two listeners.
Yes,
Well,
there is.
half the audience.
Let's go into that a little bit. No.
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it's always a thing where it's like because the position really has nothing to do with Catholicism or anything like that. It's like, well, we need someone to run IT, because everyone needs someone to run IT in these days.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere without there being technology involved. So
Exactly. Do you do a lot of the actual technical work, or are you more of like managing people that do the technical work?
yes,
Or both. all of the above.
yeah. Because ultimately, if something's really on fire, it's my responsibility. But for the most part, I mainly just handle the day-to-day of. I sometimes wonder, why do people trust me to make decisions? But that's,
A little bit of that imposter syndrome.
like, yeah, I got to make the decisions. Well, this might be $7,000. What do you think? It's $7,000 is what I think. But, I love it. I love what I do, actually.
That's good. You don't hear that very often. So good for you.
I mean, everything has its problems,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have to travel much for this job, or is it like one location?
One location. Yeah, my
That's
last job, I was all over the place. Well,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I oversaw 6 facilities, so it involved daily commutes
Yeah.
in different locations.
Now, what is the stupidest question you've ever been asked by someone with an IT problem?
I don't know if I want to say stupid, because I always tell people that's not really stupid. It's just you don't know.
Uninformed. How's that?
No, especially nowadays, people know a lot more than they give themselves credit for is the problem. But the one question I always tell people that there actually is no answer to is which one's better. Like people used to always ask that one, especially when it comes to cell phones. Well, which is better, iPhone or Android? I always tell them neither.
What are your preferences?
What do you need to do? Yeah, what do you need to do? That's how you pick. So
Yeah.
or even computers. And I know what you'll say, Kay. Apple computers are not better than Windows computers. It just depends on what you need to do.
I just like them better.
No.
Right.
No. Oh my God, no.
I mean,
So we're going to have that fight?
I use both daily. I use an Apple at home and a Windows at work.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say there's many more issues with the Windows computers, but I'll leave it at that. I like my Mac better.
Now, let me tell you why you're wrong. No, I'm just joking.
All right. Gloves are coming off. Do you have any stories you want to share with us?
So my stories they will evolve around something that's always been revolve. They will revolve around something that's always been a problem in the IT industry. And you run into it, and I know you guys run into it too, and that is ego.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. Yeah.
It's especially worse. I mean, Saturday Night Live used to have a skit about the IT guy. Do you guys remember that? And he'd just say, move, and he'd push people out for their desks, and he'd just fix stuff for them.
Was it Rob Schneider?
I think it was. I can't remember. It's a while. It's been a while ago.
Yeah,
I think it was in
it was
the
that
90s.
era, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still pervasive. Well, I wouldn't say pervasive, but it's just bad enough to where it's like, oh my gosh, shut up. So the last place I worked for, there was a guy there. I should have known that this was going to be a problem because when I interviewed for the job, the director had said, well, this, and this, you'll have to deal with this. And then there's this guy, but you'll learn that that's just his way. And I'm like, oh, red flag.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Red flag.
Exactly. So I'm like, whatever. I want the job. I'll take it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, long story short, guys, ex-military. And, I approach all people the same. I will respect you and for whatever you are doing and what you may know. I treat everyone the same. Ex-military guy. The first thing that stood out is every day he wore a suit to the office.
Okay.
No one wore suits to the office. Even the CEO he barely wore a suit to the office, but he was always buttoned up and blah, 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 blah. And this wasn't his name, but he insisted that everyone referred to him as Sarge.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Was it even his rank?
Never knew. Never found out. I have a feeling it wasn't, but so you had to call him that. He even talked to vendors on the phone. His name was Sarge. I'm like, okay. God. And I just have a problem, especially I always tell people I don't play well with narcissists. We will butt heads eventually. And sure enough, I would get into it with this guy because he literally just knew everything. And he called everyone yahoos. Well, those yahoos don't know what they're doing. Blah, 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 blah. And he would just talk about people behind their backs. Sometimes he would be nice to them on the phone, but as soon as he would hang up, he would just rip them apart. I'm like, oh my gosh, your head is so big. I don't even know how you got into this room.
Yeah. Oh, he sounds fun.
So, yeah. I've seen him make people cry. And I would say,
God.
Yeah. But the biggest problem, after I thought about it after a while, the biggest problem may not have been him. It was the director who tolerated him.
Yeah.
And would never do anything about it and would tell people, well, that's just his way.
Yeah. If there's no consequences for you being an asshole, you're going to continue to be an asshole.
And they basically gave him the keys to the kingdom. So he ran everything too. So it was kind of like, well, we can't get rid of him because who's going to do all this stuff that he knows how to do or that he's done and set up in a custom way that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then even worse, we had there's a database administrator that works there. I won't say his name, but Asian guy, Vietnamese, super nice guy, super smart. Well, they worked in the office together every day and they would kind of nitpick at each other, kind of razz each other. And it was jokingly back and forth from time to time. Well, when the pandemic hit, there was the lockdown, everybody was out of the offices or whatever. Well, when we came back, the database administrator never came back. And I didn't think anything of it. And then as I would stop by the office, it was about a good month or two. And I'm like, where has he been? And someone told me, oh, he only works remotely now. And I was like, what? Well, come to find out, this Sarge guy was just saying the most racist and just mean things about him and his family. Like, there was a time where I would basically talk about killing Vietnamese kids.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, what the? I was livid. And that's when I'm like, the director is a moron. So instead of getting rid of this guy, he tells the database administrator, well, you really don't have to come in to work. You can work remotely all the time.
I wonder, was he scared of this guy or was he just not good with confrontation? This sounds ridiculous to move the person who wasn't an issue out of the office instead of dealing with the issue.
Right. And I don't know if he was scared of him or he just didn't want to hear it anymore or it made him super uncomfortable, whatever. But I'm like, oh my gosh. So amongst other things, that's when I really started feeling the director was a moron.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nice guy. That's the problem. He was a nice guy, but it was like, you really don't know how to manage people.
I feel like very few people do. So many people are just kind of put in the position because they've worked at the company a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then they're given no training. They have no idea how to lead people. And it just ends up being a disaster.
Right. And like I said, especially in the IT realm, that's terrible because you could have someone who's super knowledgeable, with the tech, but they don't know how to manage people. It's like, well, you're just going to make them a manager by default just because they've been there for years. But zero people skills.
Yeah. I feel like there should definitely be different pathways. Like, you're very, very smart and knowledgeable in this area, so we're going to move you into like a technical higher position. And maybe you're not technically as good, but this person is really good at managing people. We'll move you up into like a manager role. I feel like it's just combined so many times, and it's like you're good at one, you're good at the other. Sometimes you're good at both, and that's a good situation. But if not,
Right.
it's just a nightmare.
Oh, and it was. And one of the here's my other rant. One thing this guy did. So the company I worked for previously was a senior living facilities. So, we have residents everywhere. Each of these facilities had about like 147 to 200 beds in them. And during the pandemic, they decided, we're going to give everyone phones in their rooms for free. Because typically it was when you put a family member in a home, you're responsible for paying, like if they want cable in their room, you have to pay for that. If they want a telephone, you have to pay for that. So they said, because of COVID, we're going to do something great and just give everyone a phone. Okay, great. Well, offices and maybe the buildings you guys work in run on what's called IP phones. They're not your regular phones. They actually hook up to computer jacks and you could plug your computer into it. It's just a new way of phones are done. So the director decided that's what we're going to do. We're going to put these phones in these people's rooms. So first of all, we're talking about a lot of these people suffer from dementia. A lot of them can barely see. I mean, they're older people,
Yeah.
As soon as we did it, we started going to these facilities, putting the phones in. Sometimes the family members would be there and they'd say, why are you putting that in here? I mean, these are people who are used to having the big handheld phones with the giant buttons on them.
Yeah. Or rotary phones.
We're putting an office desk phone in their room with all the extra buttons and whatnot.
No. Someone got a deal on like an office that went out of business and got all the phones.
Why are there so many buttons?
Well, the company, they have a contract with, they were called Cincinnati Bell. Now they're called Alta Fiber, but that's another. But so they had this ongoing contract deal. So they were able to get all of these phones for basically next to nothing, just because they continued to expand the service. And then these phones kept dying left and right. So towards the end of my employment, I was pretty much running around just trying to replace these phones. And then I come to find out the reason why that is because the phones they gave them were actually discontinued models.
Oh, God.
So they were pretty much defective right out of the box. Now, again, we're talking about 147 phones per building, and they're just dying left and right. And this guy had the nerve to, whenever someone would complain about it, he'd call me or text me and say, so what's going on? Why aren't you there taking care of these phones? And I would tell him, dude, all of the phones are dying because you got these phones. And first of all, why did you put these in these people's rooms?
Yeah.
All the buttons.
Oh, it would happen all the time. They'd accidentally put them on Do Not Disturb. They didn't know. They were just trying to push buttons. They were trying to call their kids.
Yeah. Oh. A nice gesture, but
dumb implementation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a nice gesture, but that's about where it ends because you gave them some shit that they don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
Like it can't even be used, even if they weren't defective. And and then there's defective on top of that. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, you're giving 90-year-old people who the last time they punched a number in a phone, they probably had to, it was either a rotary phone or, and you're giving them with line 1, line 2, hold, standby, a conference call.
Well, the good news, quote unquote, was that technically all those buttons you just described didn't do anything. That was the quote unquote good news. The bad news is they didn't know what they were, so they would just randomly push them anyway. But there was one in that group of those buttons that said, do not disturb. And they would ultimately hit that button. So then the family members are calling the offices complaining, I'm trying to call my mom and it says she's not accepting calls or whatever. I can't get through. So someone would have to go in there and notice, well, it's on Do Not Disturb. And the poor lady's like, I don't even know what that means.
Well, can you imagine too, like during that time, COVID's going on, you have an elderly parent in a home, and then you can't get through to their line and you're not sure why, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? You know, that's got to be terrifying.
And come to find out, the moronic director gave your family member a phone that he doesn't even know how to use. So
right.
Terrible.
I'm hoping it at least had like a receiver and it wasn't one of those like triangular conference calls.
It wasn't. That might have been better though, because even the receivers were dying on these things. But again, they were discontinued models. It was terrible. It got to the point where I was coming home complaining. That's all I talked about all the time. And my wife's like, you need to leave. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do. I need to leave this place.
Yeah. Time to put the resume up on LinkedIn and
Indeed.
see what's out there. Indeed
I did. And indeed I left.
Did you ever watch the show, the British show, The IT Crowd?
I've watched a couple of them, yeah.
Did you enjoy it, or was it just like, this is just
No, it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It was one of those things where, you know how you have your set of shows you're already watching, so it's like, I'll get back to that, and then I just never did for no real reason. Yeah,
that show's hilarious. It doesn't actually deal with IT stuff very often. It goes off on random stuff, great. But like when it does deal with IT stuff, it's pretty funny. Like the classic, someone calls down because their computer isn't working, and he's like, "Is it plugged in?"
Yeah.
Go under your desk and see if it's plugged in.
Ironically, I did have something like that just happen at the place I'm at now, but it wasn't. It was so the person submitted a help desk ticket because everyone has two monitors, and this lady was like, I don't know why my left monitor won't come on. And she's relatively new to the agency. So she's like two weeks into the job. So I go over there and I said, well, the little light's on is not on the front of the monitor. And I look down and, you know, behind the monitor screen where it plugs in, it was just hanging out.
Oh, gosh.
And I said, well, you know, electricity is important. And I'm just joking about it, too. You know, she's cracking up. She's like, to tell you the truth, this hasn't worked since I've been here. And I never thought to even look. It was unplugged.
Oh, my God. The one day she's like, okay, I'm finally going to call IT about this.
And then it was just unplugged. But I'm not the kind of person. I don't make people feel stupid. If anything, I tend to approach it kind of laughing with them just to let them know, you know, it's not that big of a deal. But again, like the other jackass I worked with, he would have made her feel stupid. Like, but
of course,
no, it's not that important.
Please don't unplug anything.
Sorry, our cat is just walking around.
The kitten is like, I'm going to explore some shit now. I don't think I've ever
time you guys recorded it.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk across this keyboard.
Well, when you have 3 cats, inevitably one of them is going to do some shit while you're recording.
He's like, well, you're talking to the IT guy. It'll be all right.
Right.
There she is.
Oh, it's a she. Oh.
Yeah. This is Poo Poo. Poochie. She doesn't know how to clean her ass. So actually, she does know how to clean her ass. And even when it's clean, it fucking stinks.
I knew that girl. I knew a girl like that once. No, I'm just joking. Oh, God. And we called her Poo Poo. That's ironic.
Was her name Poo Poo? Her official name is Aphrodite, but she never gets called that. Oh, no. It's Poochie or Poo Poo.
Speaking of that, didn't you have a bird friend that you were meeting and feeding? Whatever became of that?
So I was feeding the crows at work. We have a lot of crows because we are right by big like flower fields. So there's lots of birds and little wildlife. And so I was bringing seeds every day, and I go walking on my lunch break and I was feeding them. And I got to the point where they knew me. They saw me when I was coming out. They would fly and follow me as I'm walking along. And then, so like in May and June is when crows have their babies, and they get a little bit more aggressive then. So like if you walk near their nests, they'll kind of dive bomb you. And so they started doing that to people at work, and they started complaining, and our work is stupid. And they're like, it must be because people are feeding them. No more feeding the birds. And so I had to stop feeding them, and now they don't love me anymore. So I'm very sad.
Oh, Man, they say, crows, they're really smart like that. They have great really memories smart. Too. Yeah, they remember you. You better be careful.
They knew my face. They knew my face, and I was so sad because it was just like the highlight of my fucking day was going on my lunch walk and having the birds follow me, and I'd feed them. And it was.
I mean, yeah. What was the name you gave the one?
Oh shit! What was?
I think that was it. It was Shithead, wasn't it?
It was Shithead. Yeah, it was either Poophead or Shithead. Yeah, because I don't know if it was poop, but there was a white splotch on his face. I assumed he just got pooped on by another bird. That's right. Yeah. Aww.
Yeah, I remember everyone was like, the crows are attacking, and it's like, oh, you fucking puss. Like, it's a crow.
And it's not even, they don't even attack because they did it to me a couple times.
You with their wings.
And I thought it was hilarious. They just swing by and just like hit you in the back of the head with their wings. It's not like they've got their talons out or anything. People are just fucking sensitive.
Like, hey, yo, where are them crackers? Give me some crackers. Give me some seeds. Where they at? Pop you in the back of the head.
Those good organic seeds, man.
Well, at least they're not. You guys have those geese, which I found out they're not really geese. They're Canadian. They're called Canadian mallards. You have those. We have those everywhere. And here, it's illegal to touch them, hit them, or hurt them. So there's flocks of them. And you know how every time they build an office building or a new neighborhood, they always want to put a pond in. You know, you always got to have a pond. So, of course, they flock there. And they'll be in the middle. So where I live is kind of rural, actually. And there's a 2-lane highway that goes, a roadway that goes up to the highway on-ramp. And it's like a pharmaceutical distribution company or something. They have this huge pond, and there's always a bunch of those geese or whatever you want to call them. And they'll just start slowly walking across the road, and they can back traffic up because, again, you're not allowed to hit them. You can't just run them down. But they're really aggressive, and they poop everywhere too.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife was telling me a story one time when she used to live with her sister. This was years ago. They lived in an apartment complex, and she had gotten attacked by one. And at first I laughed. She goes, oh, no, you don't understand. They're vicious.
Yeah, and their little beaks are strong, too.
Yeah, cut her.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Wow. So I won't mess with those things. And they're big, too. So I think I'd rather deal with a crow just winging me in the back of the head as opposed to getting attacked by a mallard.
They're nice most of the time.
I think we had one of those when I first moved to Las Vegas in, I think like 98 or 99 or maybe 2000. I don't remember. Whatever. Long time ago. When I first moved to Las Vegas, we moved into this house that was on these man-made lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they had those big, we thought they were geese. They looked like geese because they also had ducks, but they had those big geese. And these two girls, like from our backyard, we could see the pond, the lake, whatever. And these two girls were out there and they were just on the little dock where you can put your kayak and go around the pond. And one of these geese was chasing them around.
Well, and when they run too, they'll put their wings up like this, and they're huge. They're
and
huge.
They hiss.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know what they are. And so, like I said, here we have tons of them, and they, they're always in flocks. Yeah, so I'm not messing with them.
Like little fucking gangsters.
Gangster geese. Hey. Yeah, we don't really have them. I haven't seen them down here much, but when I lived in the Bay Area and I lived in a complex with like little man-made ponds and they were everywhere, and I'd take my two little dogs out and sometimes they did not like the dogs and they would hiss and spread their wings and shit everywhere.
Yeah. They're like the only birds I've ever seen that actually shit real turds too. It's not like just those plops. They're turd piles. I'm like, that's not a bird. It's a dog with wings.
And it has a very distinct smell. And you're just like, what? Yeah.
Well, then what they started to do, since they're protected here, there's actually businesses here there's a guy, he was on the local news where he has dogs that are trained. Now, this sounds like the biggest hustle I've ever seen. And of course, I thought, why didn't I think of this? He trains he has like 2 or 3 dogs that are trained to run them off. And
so they're dogs.
Exactly. Oh, so you just train them to be dogs. And yeah, these businesses hire him and he brings his dogs out and they run them off. And then of course, so the question is, well, don't they just come back once you leave?
Yeah, right? Doesn't he just go up in a tree?
They go across the street, they wait till the dogs are gone, and then they come back.
And he said, well, yeah, but that's why my contract is always 3 days. So he says it takes 3 days of the dogs doing this for them not to come back. I still call bullshit on that because I guarantee you some of these businesses that have paid this guy, and that was a few years ago, I bet they still have those mallards. They still got the pond. It's like they're not going to go away just because a few dogs scared them one summer.
Or a different flock who wasn't scared by the dog comes and,
and I'm sure they're not texting each other, hey, don't go over there. Right. There's 3 dogs.
Yeah.
I've heard that's a bad neighborhood. They got dogs over there.
The other gang from the other side of the pond is like, yeah, those dogs ran off our competition. Let's go over there.
Yeah, that's all ours now. I don't know why I was about to do what do they call themselves? A cholo accent. Hey, the other guys are gone now, man. Them dogs, man, them off.
That was
the first thing that popped in my mind.
Yeah.
Remember, it was a long time ago, but they used to have the Looney Tunes cartoons, but it was
the pigeons.
The pigeons that were like mafioso pigeons.
Yeah, and the one was stupid.
Hey, Paulie, get over here.
Weren't they called the Good Feathers?
Yes.
I think they were the Good Feathers.
Yeah.
That was it.
Animaniacs.
It was on Animaniacs, right. It was like a little short in the Animaniacs. Oh, I love that. Paulie.
They had like the Joe Pesci sounding bird. Yeah. Hey, yo.
Am I a joke? Am I a clown? Here to entertain you?
Yeah.
Do I make you laugh?
Oh, good
this went off on a whole bird topic. I love it.
And I don't even know how we got here, but here we are.
It's the best. I don't even care.
Well, that brings me to my other question. I had posted this once, and I never really got an answer because I don't think anyone knows, because I don't think there is an answer. You ever you wash your car or whatever. What's one of the first things that happens?
A bird shits on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And where I live, they hit the mailbox. My mailbox is covered in bird shit right now, and I don't understand it. But my question
is there a tree?
Yeah, but why the mailbox? It's out by the end of the road, end of the driveway.
Oh, I mean, come on, man.
Where they sit on the mailbox.
Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and gone to take a pee, and like maybe the toilet's not pristine like Kay's is 24/7, and there's like something in there? You aim for that shit, and you try to get it off. This is what birds do.
Thing.
I'm so glad we have separate bathrooms. Sorry, back to your point.
But my question is this: why don't they ever shit on the roofs of houses and stuff?
Well, they must, right?
Well, I'm sure they do.
You're just not seeing it.
Okay, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Where I'm at, I can see literally the roofs of every one of my neighbor's houses.
And there's no shit.
There never has been. So why are they always targeting our cars?
Because they're assholes.
I think that's the constant game for them. They're just watching. They're like, that car just got washed.
Look how shiny that one is. I bet I can hit it from here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, what
else are they gonna do? They're birds.
Crows love shiny things. So you wash your car and they're like, oh, I'm gonna shit on that one.
It's like a graffiti artist tagging. He's putting his tag on your car.
It goes back to the bird gangs. They're tagging.
They're little fucking mafiosos. Hey, Leo, wash this fucking car. Let's go shit on it. This fucking guy.
Let
He'll
him know
never
we were
learn.
here.
He'll never learn.
Never learn. How many times we got to do this? I mean, I've been on. Well, never mind. I just never could figure that out. Or when you're at the amusement park, you're riding a roller coaster. I've never seen shit on a roller coaster either. Bird shit. Or any of the rides. Birds are there.
Because it's all over the handrails when you're walking in line to go up to the ride. There's shit all over those handrails.
I was
And
gonna say,
gum.
well, the movement probably scares them, but I don't know, at night when they're not moving. I don't know.
Do they shit at night? Do birds fly at night?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Bats do.
Well,
Bats
Whoa,
do shit on
man.
us.
whoa,
If a bird flies at night,
That's fucking
does it
far
really
out,
fly?
bro.
here, hit this again.
I don't think I've ever seen a bird fly in the dark, man. You're fucking freaking me out right now, man.
Birds aren't even real, man.
Yeah,
They're not
man.
actually.
It's the fucking Matrix, man. That's what it is.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because we literally. I know you guys know the Kneecast guys.
Yeah.
That conversation literally just came up on the Kneecast Discord server about birds not being real, other things not being real. We were talking about outer space, and I said, "Well,
that's not real.
It's not even real because what's the basketball player Irving talking about the Earth being flat and
God.
all the pictures of the Earth are fake. Birds aren't real. None of this is. It's not real." So,
Oh my God. I mean, at this point, I'm like, I could believe that. I could believe we're plugged into some
Don't
sort
you
of
fucking dare.
some sort of matrix, and like this is all just a fucking weird somebody's big joke on us. Hey, fucker, you have to work your entire life to barely get by. Enjoy that reality.
and then guess what? You die. Joke's on you.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. I think people just don't want to face reality. That's all
Yeah.
that is. Like, this can't be real. It's so horrible. It can't be real.
I
know.
think too many stupid people have access to the internet, and we
Oh, and
should
then there's
probably
that.
regulate that.
Then there's that part.
There needs to be regulations on like who gets to post shit on the internet.
But then where would all our entertainment come from?
I mean, you have to get a driver's license. How come you don't have to have a social media license?
Right.
You have to pass an IQ test, maybe
Right.
get some therapy.
Have some like manners instilled. You have to take an etiquette course.
Yeah. But like you said, Kay, then where would all the entertainment come from?
Yeah.
You just
It's-
have a bunch of smart people sitting around. It's going to get boring after a while.
That's gonna get real boring. Yeah.
Do you guys ever fight? Come on. Talk about his mom or something.
Drama. Come on.
Need some drama.
Well, there'd still be those people. You
What do you
just
mean,
wouldn't
you
have
people?
I said those people.
Oh, those people. Oh, them.
Yeah, them, they.
The smart assholes.
Yeah,
Oh.
you'd still have those where like their insults actually mean something.
they're like so intricate you don't even get it, so you're not offended.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Elon Musk? Okay, yeah, those guys.
Oh God. Would you call him smart?
I mean, the guy's smart. Come on.
He's
In ways.
smart.
In
He's
ways,
no-
yeah.
Well, I think we should quantify that. He's intelligent. He's not very smart because there is a difference. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people who are very intelligent. They're just not very smart.
Yeah, like not like smart in the ways of the world, but like super intelligent, can figure out
Yeah.
a crazy math
Yeah.
equation and
Well,
shit.
that's what they say. They've always said genius borders insanity.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He's
Yeah.
crossed that border, I think. He cray
So-
cray.
I think he jumps from one side to the other.
I think he likes
at
it.
will.
He just likes
Yeah.
it. He's punking the world. He's got the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Why
I
not?
think a lot of what he does is him just trolling
Oh yeah.
because he can.
Mhm.
And
Who's going to stop
you
him?
know, yeah.
Which, I mean, there you go. Like, intelligent, more money than God, assholes, just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yep.
44 billion to tank a social media company.
He ruined my favorite place on the internet
just to troll people. Like I really think he did that just to troll people. Oh, this is the biggest social media outlet. This is where most people go. This is where most people get their news. I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna fuck it up, and I don't care.
Yeah, but in the meantime, a lot of very smart people lost their job because of it. So his trolling affected people's lives.
Do you want to have a serious conversation for once about that?
Oh, shit.
So, actually, there's a reason why he did what he did to it. And the name you see now is part of it. Mm-hmm. He wants to so in China, there is a platform that everyone uses. You use it for everything. It's where you shop. It's how you pay your bills. It's how they do social credits. If you ever heard of that.
Yeah.
He wants to make something like that. And it's called
X.
What he's done to Twitter is going to be a part of this whole grand scheme of X. Basically, he wants to control you like the communist government controls people in China through a social, well, you can't even call it a social platform. It's more of an everything platform. So
yeah. So
but why? I mean, he could just be lying. That could be the answer that the answer to the question that I'm about to ask. But why does he do all these interviews and say one of the reasons why he bought Twitter is because they were basically censoring free speech?
Because he's going to get all the crazies on board when he says that.
And it was the thing to say at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And the people that will be gullible enough to buy into his bullshit.
He's building a bigger platform, basically. This is just part of it. So,
isn't he the one that started Bitcoin, right? Or something like that?
No.
He started PayPal.
He started PayPal?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But he's had some sort of like...
And then he sold it, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about how he messes with Dogecoin.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Dogecoin.
He didn't start it, but he's always...
I always called it doggy coin.
Doggy coin.
That's what it is. That's what the translation
doggy coin,
is. Yeah. Which was actually a crypto that was created as a joke by a few guys. It was a joke. Yeah. But he does the thing, you ever heard the term pump and dump? Not your first date, Jay.
I've heard it in the terms of breastfeeding and drinking.
I mean, and there's that. But no, where he'll get on social media and just talk about it and the price shoots up. And then he sells a bunch of it off, and then the price just drops back down because it's really worthless. Dogecoin really is technically worthless.
Yeah.
But people like him just keep making it float along. Just, again, I think that really goes to his whole trolling personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a narcissist.
Yeah. And a megalomaniac, and he just thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Didn't he admit that once?
Probably.
Didn't he say that he was a narcissist once? I swear I heard. Anyway, whatever.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I think anyone who, what's the word? I want to say anyone who has built the success in the terms of how much money he's made, anyone who has built that kind of success, you can't build that without narcissism. Like you have to be
I don't like
willing
to believe that, Jay. There's got to be.
I want to be rich someday, and I'm not a narcissist. But you have to be able to just stomp on people.
Exactly.
You got to have a spine, but that doesn't mean you got to be a jerk.
I've always gone back to that quote from that movie Heat. You've probably never seen it. Heat.
Oh, Heat. I've never seen it.
When Robert De Niro says, "Never get so close to anything that you can't drop it in 5 seconds and walk away." And I think
still you married me.
I think that no. I'm not saying that I follow that. I'm saying that the people who like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, all these big people who have all this in quotation success because they have all this money. That's a very narcissistic way to look at things. And I think that they could not build that success if they weren't able to just crush people and walk away. and sleep at night.
Yeah, and it's sad.
It
Because
is.
wouldn't it
It
be
is.
nice if the wealthy people in the world were actually good people?
Are there any? Like, can
There
you
has
think of
to be.
any off the top of your head that are just billionaires?
Well, we don't really know them though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know.
I think that's a homework assignment.
Yeah.
Finding
I
rich, nice, wealthy people.
Look, you
that
have
give back and aren't
but-
dicks and
I mean, because you could
Okay.
say, I mean, look at Warren Buffett. He did the, what is it called? Philanthropy challenge. And all these
Mhm.
guys are buying into it because his thing is, well, you reach a certain age, you realize, well, really, I can't spend all of this money. And
right.
my kids, they'll be fine. So what do I do with it? Instead of because when you die, ultimately the government's going to get it. So he started this challenge where how much can you give away if you're a certain level of income, give away all your money. And he does. He gives away a lot of money. And so does Bill Gates.
Isn't he the one that also like didn't put any money in his will for his kids? Was that Warren Buffett? Where
I think it was.
They need to earn their own way.
Yeah. What is it? What's his thing called? Berkshire Hathaway. But yeah, he's the one that got Bill Gates, well, Melinda did too, into giving away money and giving to charities. But the sad part of that is, like you said, Jay, that doesn't mean they're not assholes, though. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, just because you're giving away money, are you still
also
You're
like
doing that just because it looks good for your PR or whatever.
your charity donations are tax write-offs.
That
So
too.
Well, then there's that.
So
they're getting more back.
You're giving away this money, which is good, but it's also basically negating you having to pay any taxes on any profits that you make on anything. So it's like, they all use that shit to better themselves, because if they were just giving away their money, they wouldn't be worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
It keeps coming back to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what gets me. Like, there is no chance in hell you or your children or your grandchildren could ever spend that amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck do you need that much money? When
But
there
it
are
keeps coming to
so
'em.
many, right? And there's so many people that can't afford their fucking rent, who are homeless. But these fucking billionaires just keep getting richer and richer, and they just hold on to it tighter. And it's like, why? What the fuck are you going to do with all that money?
But then on the flip side of that is, now you got people, they've worked hard and built that stuff. And okay, so if it were you, that's the problem. Can you put yourself in their position? If it were you, would you say, okay, I've started making all this money, I'm going to start giving it away? Well, guess what happens? Like Jay pointed out, you'll start getting tax write-offs for doing it. So how do you stop that? Just say, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think there's a difference between I'm going to do this because I get a tax write-off, or I'm going to do this because I want to help this community, but I also get a tax write-off because it just happens.
But the people who are giving to those donations, if they really want to do it, to just do it, they wouldn't go through like a charity donation. They would just give it. They would
hand
give
out
it
cash on the street.
Well, no, but like I guarantee there is a way that, like, if you wanted to give money to a homeless foundation, you could give that money and just not do the paperwork for the tax write-off.
But if they
Just
want to
not do
deposit that money, they have to claim it and all that kind
Yeah,
of
the
stuff.
problem is the government wants to know where the money's going and what did you do with
Yeah.
that money? Who's got it? And now they got to talk to the people that you gave it to. Where'd you get that money?
Yeah.
Well, he gave it to me. It's
the
all
fucking
tied.
government, man.
It's the government, man. Hey, this
All
all
their
reminds
fucking
me.
papers and shit, man.
They ain't got nothing on me, man, because I'm broke.
I ain't signing shit, man.
Another homework assignment is all of these like multi-billionaires that, oh, I built this empire. How many of them grew up with privilege, with all of
them,
all the shit handed to them, where yes, maybe they got a job and they worked and they had some ideas, but they were privileged from the start. Like, I want to know how many multi-billionaires came from literally nothing.
Well, you got to
made their way
quantify
there.
nothing too, because you got to remember Bill Gates he didn't come from necessarily a privileged background. I mean, middle class at best.
Yeah. He went to Stanford though, right? For a while.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be. Let's not split hairs here.
I mean, okay, maybe he was very, very smart and he got scholarships, and that happens too, right? It's not like
Yeah.
you know,
Zuckerberg
you
went to
student
Harvard.
loans. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. This all reminds me. Do you guys remember? This is one of Richard Pryor's classic movies. Do you remember Brewster's Millions?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Remember he had to give away all that money.
Yeah.
And he quickly found out how hard it is to actually give away money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I mean, I'd want to. I mean, we always talk about, the Powerball is now Mega Million is what, $1.5 billion.
Oh,
and, it's always fun to say, well, what would you do with that money? And, you always say, well, I'll give half of it away. And then, but would you?
Yeah. But that's a ruse though, because that 1.5 billion.
Well, it's 4.5 million if you take the lump sum.
But still,
if you take the lump sum, and you have to take the lump sum because that's the only way it's transferable.
Well, you don't have to. You could take the installments, but you'll pay more in taxes at the end. So that's why many of them say take the lump sum. But also
those installments, if you died tomorrow, those installments are not transferable.
Oh, so
your kids do not get them.
So there you go.
Your family doesn't get them. So they push people to take the lump sum. And then it turns out that like basically the government gets $1 billion and you get 500 million.
I mean,
Still,
they set up the lottery. So
right.
They're still going to get theirs. Like, well, you're going to get that right back.
Yeah, they set it up.
Still 500 million though. Still,
we could buy 5 maybe houses in our neighborhood. Maybe.
No shit.
5 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses in our neighborhood.
Wow.
Yay, California.
Yeah.
California love.
In a world with so many movies to choose from, one hero will rise. The Movie Wire Podcast with host Justin Henson. Tune in wherever you listen to podcasts.
Wow, how did we end up here?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Let's keep going. This is fun.
What happened here?
So have you ever shot a rocket up into the sky and like strapped a camera to it, dude? There's no fucking curve, bro.
Have you ever been in a submersible down to the Titanic?
Oh my gosh. 2 subjects that make me go, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with... First of all, let's talk about the submersible. I'm not going to make fun of people dying, so we'll clear that up.
No.
I just don't understand. Why in the hell do people still care about the Titanic? It's a ship. It sank. It's over.
Yeah.
Why do you want to keep going down there? What?
Just because it's
a novelty.
It was so mysterious for so long until they found it. Here's my question about it is you look at what's the shit you put on your face?
Virtual reality.
You look at VR. Virtual reality. Why? If you saw that submersible and you like saw the pictures of inside of that submersible, they had like 23-inch fucking monitors.
Yeah, there wasn't even windows.
They weren't even windows. They were looking at it on some shitty monitors. And I'm like, bro, you could build something that could actually go to those depths and not.
They
implode.
Already have those. They're called robots.
I know. Yeah. And just put on virtual reality glasses, and it's like you're outside of the craft looking at the Titanic. Because looking at it on a screen, like it's going to be shittier.
And every time I ask people this question, they go, "Well, it's the experience." What are you experiencing? You're not experiencing anything. You're seeing the same thing you would see if a robot was down there beaming back the images. To me, experiencing is if I get to touch, walk around,
all your senses.
All my senses. That's experiencing, not sitting in a can looking at a monitor.
They experienced about an hour and a half, and then push.
At least it was instant.
Oh, yeah.
Like the thought of them actually being down there and trapped and lost was, oh my God, my anxiety just thinking about it. But at least it was like quick and instant.
Well, and then as that unfolded, it just got more and more ridiculous. So the news, they're all reporting, okay, this ship is there. 2 more of these ships showed up. All these ships showed up. And then they started saying, well, even if they did have cranes on those ships, they wouldn't be able to bring them back up anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Like, what are you doing there? Why?
Why did we spend so much money on that when it was a private fucking thing? The people signed shit to go down there knowing full well the thing was a piece of shit because the guy basically said, I didn't get any sort of certifications on this.
And he used a game controller from a discontinued system to steer it.
The
And these
goddamn
people
discontinued systems, man.
willingly did that.
They strike again in
Like
old
those
folks'
phones.
homes, in submersibles.
Oh my God. The whole thing was ridiculous.
They probably have been fine if they had like the PS5.
Yeah. You had a
Controller.
PS5 controller, you would have been straight.
Shit, they'd be
They
good.
They had an old original Nintendo thing with the 2 buttons.
And then did you guys hear what the Navy said when it was all said and done?
Oh yeah, we
they
knew.
We had already heard it.
Yeah, we heard it. Yep.
Like, what the fuck? There was so much money and resources spent to look for that.
Well, you didn't ask. You didn't ask if we heard
already knew.
anything.
God. Even like James Cameron was on TikTok saying, I knew they were gone 2 hours
they're
into
fucking
it.
fish food.
Like, he's like, as soon as both, what is it, like the radar and the whatever, the transmission stopped at the same exact time, he's like, I knew they had
it was over.
imploded.
And the Navy was like, oh, yeah, we heard it. We just didn't tell you guys.
Yeah, no, you didn't ask. If you would have asked, we'd have told you, but
Oh
nobody
my
asked.
God, you have to say the right words and we'll give you the correct answer.
It's not can I go to the restroom, it's may I go to the restroom.
Exactly.
I couldn't help but laugh when I was like, really? You let all these people go out there? What was it, 4 or 5, 2, 3 days or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was like a
Talk
week.
about
or
how much,
almost a week.
Yeah.
talking about how much oxygen they might have left and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the Navy's like, no, they gone.
Yeah.
We heard
You
it
guys
last
didn't
week.
see those. You guys didn't see
Honestly.
those bubbles way over in the distance off of
Right.
your ship. That was
so
their
messed up.
oxygen.
But it generated news stories and shit. So people are like, we don't actually care what the truth is. We're just going to keep getting people like hooked onto this story, you know? And people were. You
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere without just constant.
I mean, even I was too. I was intrigued. I'm like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But it would be awesome if they can find them. And then, but then especially when they started saying, well, none of these boats could bring them up anyway, even if they found it. That's when I was like, well, what the hell are they doing there then?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you take risks and you don't make it. Sometimes you get on the freeway going to work and you get in a car accident and die.
Yeah, but my car didn't cost $250,000.
Very true. And it has
So-
a lot of safety checks and certifications. And, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
probably
yeah.
looked
Actual
into that
engine-
when you bought it. Yeah.
And actual
250
engineers designed it.
$250,000 per person to
Right.
rent the car.
Yeah, you get an Uber. How much
passenger.
is it? 250,000.
Yeah. Oh my
Terrible. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. So now I forgot what was the other thing. Jay, you had said something, and then we got on the submersible. Yeah, you forgot
the
too.
Space, was it the rocket?
Oh, the
penis
rocket.
and
Oh, yeah. No, I was just.
There's no curb.
There's no curve, man. Like, prove it. Prove it.
You can
there's
see
a
the
curve,
horizon
man.
curve when you get in an airplane. And again,
No.
I brought this up, and someone on Twitter, I'm sorry, X, back when I was in the middle of this discussion, they said, well, that's not true, is because the windows on the airplanes are made that to the point where it just gives that illusion.
Just to keep everyone thinking that the Earth is round. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The aerospace industry knew
Mhm.
that they had to build the windows that made you think there was a curve.
And every airline and every manufacturer is in on it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Makes
let me ask this, because I've never delved into the whole fucking flat earther thing. Have any of them claimed to reach the edge of the earth?
Oh, they all put videos up the ice wall. That's what the submersible was. That's what the submersible was. They needed to rebuild part of the ice wall because somebody got through, so they had you focus on the submersible, but they were actually rebuilding the ice wall because Antarctica is not a real thing. Yeah. That's an ice wall.
So what happened to the people that broke through the ice wall? Where'd they go?
The other side.
Oh, they went to I don't know.
What's on the other side?
They went to the Lannisters.
The White Walkers?
Valhalla.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They went to the
world
Seven
is a crazy
Kingdoms.
Place. It's the Matrix, man. It's the fucking Matrix.
I mean, I can't. I even tried to. I got in a conversation about, like I said, and I said, okay, well then explain time zones then.
It's all made up, man.
Yeah, it's made up. How? I mean, I have a nephew who's in the military. He was stationed in Japan for many years, and we do, conference calls. It would be in the middle of the night there because, Japan is literally a day ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would always say, well, you're in the future. What's the lottery numbers, blah, blah. And the flat earthers, they never really could answer that. There was kind of an answer, but it made zero sense. They were talking about, well, when the sun rises and it gets so, I'm like, well, if it's flat at high noon, everywhere is going to be daylight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you explain one part of it being dark and the other part? They never could answer that. Like, it's stupid.
Where do they think? Do they still think the sun moves in an ellipse just around a flat? And what's on the bottom?
It goes up and around. Well, whatever. Well, you have the people that say that there's a turtle at the bottom.
Oh.
You ever heard that one?
No.
God damn it.
No.
This is getting worse.
I need more alcohol for this.
Here.
Holy shit.
Have some White Claw.
Yeah, we're on the back of a giant turtle, basically.
So now we're in the Never-Ending Story.
I was going to say, these are the people
Jesus
that grew up
fucking
watching the
Christ.
Never-Ending Story.
Exactly.
There's a nothing somewhere on one of the
nothing.
corners. Oh my God.
Don't these look like big, strong hands?
Oh, I loved that guy.
The rock biter.
Yes.
Oh.
They look like big, strong hands, but they couldn't stop the nothing.
Big, strong hands.
Oh. We unfortunately rewatched that movie as adults, and I don't recommend
my
it.
childhood.
I do not recommend rewatching it. Keep the joy of the childhood memories of that movie.
They said his name way too many times, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But what else didn't you like about it watching it as an adult?
It was just so fucking stupid.
Oh,
I think the overall message was still good, but oh my God, it was just so bad.
Yes.
So bad.
Yeah.
The storylines were just
And it was the kid was reading a book.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait a minute, what? This can't be real.
Yeah,
the acting was horrible.
Oh, it was so
the special
horrible.
effects were horrible. Of course, it was the 80s. So, of course, but there's still some 80s movies that hold up, it was just, I'm afraid to watch The Labyrinth again as an adult because I also don't want that ruined.
Oh, yeah. That's like the live action puppets kind of thing, right?
It's not as bad. And especially just Bowie, he made that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one was a little more on the dark side.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not going to notice. But this when we rewatched Never-Ending Story, this is what I thought about. As a kid, I can see you getting really into that movie because you can't really judge good acting, bad acting. You're like your brain hasn't developed enough to judge that. Sorry if this offends you. So what the fuck is the wrong with the grown ass adults that still watch cartoons? Because it's like as a kid, you watch cartoons, and you're all about the cartoons. But as an adult, I see cartoons and I'm like, I can't watch that shit.
Well, it depends on what it is, because there are a lot of cartoons. I'm sorry, they're not called cartoons anymore, sir. They're called animated features.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of animated features with some really well-written storylines and some great acting. It's like the animation is only there just so artists can have something to do.
Yeah.
Because if there were real actors, it would still be a good movie, but they made it animated. And I will argue that for the past literally decade or so, some of the best movies at the theaters have been animated features.
Look, what are your
Because there's been some garbage movies that come out with real people, and I'm like, what the fuck are we watching? But then they would release something like you would have The Incredibles. Great movie. It's animated.
Never saw it. I don't see a lot of movies in general.
No, I'll agree with you. I'll take back my statement, because one of my favorite cartoons I saw as an adult, it's called The Boondocks.
Oh,
have you ever seen that one?
Oh, yeah.
That one was great.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it just depends on what it is. Because, a lot of the old stuff, now you look back and it's like, oh, my, what the fuck? What was wrong with me? I was an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's some nostalgia too. Like we watched Neverending Story because we thought it would be cool and nostalgic, and then we're just like, no, why did we do this?
But then we in all of our what is it, like self-loathing, we decided to watch the music video of the theme song. Turn around.
Oh no, that's enough. You don't have to, because I made the same mistake you made too. I rewatched it and I was like, I mean, I won't go so far as you guys, but it is not. Yeah, it's not the greatest as you thought it was. Not the greatest.
No. Some things are just better left in your childhood, for sure.
The one question I always had too was, how was that a dragon?
I don't know.
It was a labin. It was a labin
with bubble tape, bubble wrap going down his back.
Did they ever refer to it as a dragon?
It was a luck
movie?
Dragon.
Oh, a luck dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a luck dragon. And I was like,
he flew, I guess, but he didn't have scales.
He didn't ever have wings, did he? He just kind of
I don't think
flew.
So. Yeah, he just kind of like
he just flew,
kind of undulated through the sky
with a trail on his back. This could have been a porno for all we know.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
Now you guys are lucky. If you want to talk about ruining your favorite stuff from when you were younger, don't have kids. Just don't. Because
already decided that.
I got neutered, bro.
Especially like movies we thought were classics. I still think are classics. Oh, my sons made me so mad at them one time. And I probably shouldn't say that in public. But I told them, you guys are going to watch one of the greatest movies ever.
I feel like I know what you're going to say. Yep.
The Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb as fuck, huh?
Oh, they ripped that movie apart.
No.
And I told them to get away from me, and they're lucky they're still in my house.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say with Neverending Story. I was like, it'd probably be different if you had kids and you like, oh, I want to introduce this to them. But nowadays they're like used to so much like high tech. They're like, what is this shit?
And that's the thing. And they'll sit and go, wow, look at that film quality. I'm like, would you guys shut up about that part? That's not the point here. It's the story. Oh my gosh, this looks horrible. And then it was just stupid.
I was going to say, how old are your kids? But you don't need to say that on the podcast.
Well, they're 13 and 17, the boys. Mm-hmm. But this was when they were younger when I tried to introduce it to them. They were like 9, 12. But
like the perfect age for Goonies. Come on.
They hated it. I wanted to kick them out of the house.
Yeah.
We actually had an experience like that with a friend of ours who did not grow up in America. And so he hasn't seen a lot of the classic movies that we grew up with or enjoyed. And so we're like, you need to see Evil Dead 2. you're going to come over, we're going to have a movie night, and you're going to watch Evil Dead 2. And like, we know it's a bad movie, right? But that's the fun of it. Like,
that's the
point. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense, but it's entertaining. And he hated it and was on his phone scrolling the whole time. And we're just like, we're never inviting you to a movie again.
Yeah, he's also a little bitch.
Invite me to a good one then.
Yeah.
Well, then you guys should have started off with The Exorcist then, if he wants to be like that. No, you can't do that one either, because I have a story about that. Again, absolute classic horror movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when my oldest daughter, who's now, I'm not going to say, but when she was younger, she would always, because, I love horror movies, and she'd say, Dad, let me watch them. And I'd say, no, you can't watch this stuff yet. I'll think about it. I'll let you watch it. And she just kept begging and begging. And then she says, let me watch your favorite one. I was like, oh, you absolutely cannot watch that one. She kept nagging me. I was like, okay. So one night, she was like 10 years old. I was like, all right, we're going to watch it. Sat down, and I had totally forgotten about the whole opening of that movie, which, if you don't know it, it's boring for about the first 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and she just kept rolling her eyes. I'm like, no, you got to stick with it. There's a reason why all this is happening. They're in Iraq. There's all the weird stuff going on, but there was nothing scary. Nothing. It was basically about archaeology.
Yeah.
Oh, she hated it. She's like, this is stupid. I was like, well, I can't fast forward it, because if I do, you won't understand why what's happening is happening.
Yeah.
And it was that whole thing. And she hated it. So I was like, whatever. So then several years later, she's probably about 15 or 16. She has a sleepover with a friend. And then she ends up calling me. Oh my God, I finally watched that movie.
Did it scare the shit out of her?
Absolutely. And she's like, I can't believe you tried to make me watch this. I was like, well, you asked, and then you wouldn't sit through it. So, so now you know. What is wrong with you?
That one's intense. But, thinking about the Exorcist, the horror movies like that, I know this is fuck my work life, but
whatever.
Whatever.
Like, fuck my movie life.
Who gives a shit? Just fuck my life. But you think about kids nowadays and like the CGI that they are introduced to at a young age, and how like some of the new horror movies, like that shit looks real, and back in the day when The Exorcist came out, nobody knew what it looked like when someone's head spun around on their shoulders, so you see the movie and it was like that shit was scary, and like the writing coming up on her stuff, that shit was scary. But then as movies progress and CGI progresses and you watch it now, you're like, Jesus, this is the fucking cheesiest thing I think I've ever seen. Like, it just doesn't look real. So you have to think of it in the kids' perspective. Like, they're introduced to all these movies where everything looks real. It's computer generated. It's not special effects.
If it's done right.
If it's done right. Yeah.
Now, my oldest daughter, when she tried to watch it the first time, this was before CGI was so heavily used like it is now. And I would argue, I would take the old animatronics that they used to do over CGI any day, especially when it comes to horror. Because a lot of those new horror movies, you can see it. It's like, yeah, it looks real, but you can tell that, there's something about knowing that somebody had to do real makeup and there's a real person in there, or there's something that was real tangible put together. To me, that makes it scarier instead of, well, they just stuck a computer model in there and then they made it looks realistic, but it just doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still great movies, but I'm like, give me the old stuff.
Have you ever seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
Yeah.
It's like based on a true story. That one gave me nightmares for like a week.
Did it really?
I saw that one.
Yeah.
It was good. It wasn't what I expected. I mean, it was basically a courtroom drama more than anything.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because it was based on a true story.
Was that the one where they basically killed her during her
and they were trying to figure out whether or not the people who tried to perform the exorcism really
Killed
were
her.
justified in what they believed and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So it was a great story, yeah. But
I think it was
But
very
also-
loosely based on a real
because
story.
it took place in like Germany
Yeah.
in like the early 1900s. The actual
No,
like
I think
the
it was.
story.
I don't, because there was a recording, so it was. I think it was the 70s.
it was later, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because there
forget
was
when,
actual
though.
recordings of the exorcism.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, of her speaking different languages.
or like, yeah, that.
All right, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Oh, I can. I like I said, I love that stuff though. I'm weird. So
I think the first episode of Voluntary Input I listened to was you recapping the exorcism during like a Halloween season.
yeah. Were you scared?
Of the recap? No. But it definitely brought back like the memories of like first seeing that movie and like being scared.
There's actually a new movie. It's newer. Remember, I went on like I wanted to watch horror shit. It was like a couple months ago. I wanted to watch like horror movies, and I watched. It's a newer movie. I think it's on HBO, and it's called The Pope's Exorcist. I may have rented it.
Oh, I've seen the thingy for that. I haven't watched it though.
Yeah, The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe.
Oh, I remember you watching that. Yeah, I didn't watch it.
That one was pretty good. You know, I think now I don't get freaked out by the horror movies. I actually enjoy them, and I want them to like scare me. You know,
Right.
But
There's only certain horror movies I enjoy. I don't like the like
gory
human torture type horror movies. I can't watch those. But like
gore
ghosts,
horror.
yeah, ghosts and exorcisms, I like those. But I don't
Me
like
too.
the like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Saw.
Well, I
those
like
kind of
I
ones.
like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, because it wasn't based on a true story, even though Tobe Hooper made it look like it was based on a true story.
Mhm.
And which was part of the genius of it, because he never said it was, but
He
it
just made
seemed
people.
it gave the impression that it was, but it felt like that's something that could really happen with some crazy people. But
Exactly.
but I'm with you. I don't like gore horror. I don't like slashers. I don't think
Yeah.
they're entertaining.
No.
Like
like
the Halloweens and Friday the 13th.
Scream. Yeah.
They're just dumb. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I could
I
get
used
away
to
from
watch them when I was a kid,
it.
but you know, if I watch them now, I just pick them apart.
Yeah, because they're
How is
stupid.
this bitch running? How is this
Yeah.
bitch running full speed through the woods, and this motherfucker's just walking
And he
And
catches
she's-
her.
lackadaisically, and
she falls once.
falls, and he's right there. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah.
And then they start putting them in outer space. Jason and
Yeah,
Freddy
yeah,
in
yeah.
space. Like, what? Oh, the other one that I never, ever, ever thought was scary. And a lot of people love it and call it their favorite classic or whatever. But I'm like, okay, I get it. But it's stupid. Is the Child's Play. Chucky.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
so
no,
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is absolutely idiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched the first one, and
Me too.
Even as a kid, I was like, "It's a fucking doll. Like,
It's
get
a
the fuck
doll.
outta here. This is bullshit."
It is. It's really stupid, but dolls can be creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
But that
Yeah,
movie is stupid.
but like you said, Kay, like whenever they do those haunted kind of movies and there's a room full of those creepy dolls,
Yeah.
and my great grandmother was one of those people. She had
no.
a room in her house and she had those porcelain dolls. And me and my brother, we used to hate. So my parents would take us there when they'd go out and do whatever. And she would babysit us. And she was kind of a mean lady anyway. And she had that doll room. And I swear to God, they were always looking at you. They
Mm-hmm.
were always, you can move to the other side of the room and it's like, they're like, oh my God, I got to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Annabelle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it.
There's some creepy doll shit, but Chucky
Yeah.
was not one of
No,
them, or Child's
Not
Play.
creepy, no,
Not one of
no.
them.
Dumb.
You want to play?
Oh, gosh.
No, motherfucker.
Oh, now I want to go
Stupid.
watch some like creepy movies.
I know. I do too.
Oh, I always do. There's a new Insidious out if you guys are ever into those. The first one was really good.
I watched the first one with what, Ethan Hawke?
Yeah,
first
and then
one?
that the
I don't think I
kid
ever
in
saw
that.
that
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Just the way they did the little demon in it, the way he would pop
Mhm.
up. Yeah, that was the face.
I like little demons.
Oh, it's creepy. It's really creepy. Now, the new one is called Insidious Red Door. They did a few in between, and I just didn't watch them because I'm not huge on sequels. But my oldest boy went to go see it. He's like, it's actually really good. You may want to check this one out. So I plan on watching that one soon. So.
Well, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's technically Halloween season because it's after 4th of July. So we should start watching some creepy movies.
Oh, our stores already have Halloween decorations out.
I know. You were the one that said something about that on Discord. And I was like, and?
They're all out. It's time.
Walmart. I went to Walmart not that long ago, and they're out at Walmart. Home Depot, Lowe's has all their Halloween.
That's where I saw them. Was at Lowe's.
Finally caught on because when they put that shit out in September, it's out for a week and then it gets pushed aside for Christmas shit.
Yeah.
So they got to start early.
Start now. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all I got. we just been chatting.
Yeah. Well, we really meant shooting the shit.
Yeah.
We've been shooting.
I think you had one work story.
Okay, but look.
Kind of.
We talked about birds, which has started with a work story.
Yeah.
Movies, people work on movies. So
not right now. They're all
not right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not now.
They worked on the movies we spoke about.
Right. There you go.
So that's like work, right? Well, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone just keep an eye out to see if someday maybe voluntary input will come back.
Maybe.
You could catch Leo on like a lot of other podcasts, right? You've been on Casting Views, Neatcast.
Yeah.
Where else?
Talking Smack. So, but yeah, you can still listen to voluntary input if you've never heard of it or seen it or whatever. It's still out there. So you can go check it out on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Is it still available on like podcast platforms or?
It's everywhere. It never went away. Okay. Yeah. Do you know if you die tomorrow, your podcast will still be out there?
It will live on forever.
It will live on forever in the ether.
Until Elon buys everything and shuts it down.
No.
Puts chips in everyone's head.
I used to like that guy too. I used to want a Tesla. I don't want a Tesla anymore.
No,
I have no idea.
Like, that's a whole other topic of conversation. Like, why the fuck would you buy one of those things? But anyway.
And plus, oddly, where I live, they are everywhere. I'm like, I don't want one now. To me, everybody's got them. Like, never mind.
Yeah.
And also, I'm currently working on a somewhat interesting project. I recently started doing voice narration for audiobooks.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And I'm doing work in the middle of working on one now. And I chuckle only because it'll be funny, maybe to you guys. It's a romance novel.
Oh my God. I can picture that.
Welcome back to the Jack-Off Hour.
That's awesome. And you do music too, right? You've got...
Yes. It's called Profound Simplicity, but the name of the album is Intentionally, and it's available wherever you get music. It's on Spotify, Apple iTunes. iTunes people are snobs, though. Sorry.
I don't use iTunes anymore.
That's what I mean. Or what is it called? Apple Music now?
Yeah.
Does anyone use it?
Not that I know of.
Everyone that I know that love iPhones or whatever, they say, oh, no, I just use Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So what is
it's
Apple doing?
It's so much easier. I don't know.
But anyway, I only bring that up because no one's touched it on Apple Music. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they don't like me. But yeah, I think no one uses Apple Music.
No one uses it. I listened to it on Spotify. It was nice. I was like cleaning and chilling to your music. It was good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. We'll put, like, if you send links to those, we'll put those in the show notes so people can find it easily. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's that.
That's that.
All righty then.
Bye, fuckers.
Bye, fuckers.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Fuck My Work Life podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please consider rating us on your favorite podcast platform. We'd love to hear your workplace stories, so send them our way to fmwlpod@gmail.com or leave us a message at 310-818-3273. For more fun content, follow us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at FMWLPod. You can also chat with us and your fellow fuckers on our Discord channel. You can find all our links in the show notes. Until next time, bye fuckers.